Welcome to this week's edition of Wild Kentuckiana Live. I'm your host, Tom Chamberlain. Just like every week, we have a lineup of great guests. We're going to keep you informed about what's going on around Kentucky, from everything from fishing to hunting to college sports to high school archery. And today we have Jason Waddle, the Bullitt East archery head coach out of Bullitt County, and Morgan Vaughn. Guys, I'm glad you could make it in today.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks for having us.
Tell you what, Jason, now I know you're the head coach of the NAS program at Bullitt East, and you've been, what, 2 years there now?
This is my third year.
It's your third year. I know Cindy had started it up years ago, and she was very successful,
Right.
and she turned it over to you, and you just ran with it.
Yep.
Now, NASP has really just blown up in the state of Kentucky in the last 5 or 6 years, I think.
Yep.
2002, I believe it was, Fish and Wildlife Department started this National Archery in the Schools program, which was getting kids that wasn't really too big on playing football or basketball or baseball. They wanted them to be a participant in some type of sport. So the NAS program was a perfect fit. It got the kid to learn dedication, teammates, just the whole 9 yards, just like being a team atmosphere.
Yep.
Now, how does NAS really fit into your program at school? Is it a good concept for you all?
Oh, it's great. I mean, not everybody can play football. Not everybody can play basketball or baseball, like you said. It just gives the kids that aren't tremendous athletes an avenue to enjoy an activity. And we do have kids that play football and baseball and basketball that do it as well. But it's open to everybody. Anybody can do it. So
now your team especially has been very dominant in the past 4 or 5 years. There's always those the Alabamas or football. Y'all are kind of that way with a lot of other ones out of the Pulaski County has a really good team.
Right.
I know Meade County usually has a really good team, and when you see, and I was involved with NAS for a lot of years, so when I took my team and I seen the Bullitt Eastes and the Meade counties, I was thinking, my goodness, I was hoping they wouldn't make this tournament, and y'all get that same reception when y'all get to tournaments because y'all are very dominant in your sport, and it's awesome to have that. Now, y'all were first in the region this year.
right.
Now, how many schools are usually in that region ballpark?
We have, and they switched all the regions up again this year. I think there were around 15 different schools
Okay.
in the high school division.
And that's what, Bullitt County?
It's Bullitt County, Hardin County, Nelson County, Taylor County, Marion County, and I know I'm missing another one there somewhere. They moved us out of the Jefferson County region and put us down into with those teams last year.
Was there a reason by just because the Bullitt County school systems, about every school in Bullitt County has an archery program?
Right.
Is that because that was such a big group of kids they had to move it out of Jefferson County? Because Jefferson County is very popular in NAS too.
Right.
And they're getting a lot more schools signed up for the NAS program. So, you get so many kids involved in this, and it's a complete whirlwind of when you go to a tournament. It's just overwhelming. And for people that have never been to a NAS tournament, they're thinking, oh, it's just an archery tournament. It's not a NAS. It's not an archery tournament.
No.
It is ridiculous.
Yeah.
How many people show up, the fan bases that show up. I mean, the whole 9 yards. Now, you finished first in your region, which is very, very impressive because you're with a lot of really good schools in that region. Sixth in the state.
Sixth in the state. Yep.
Any ballpark on how many teams was in the state?
Oh, there was.
I know there was 250, 300 is the number I'm thinking.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't. It's around that number. I mean, pretty much every high school in the state has it now. You've got Jefferson County with, multiple high schools. So yeah, it's probably pushing 250, 300.
And that's great. To finish, sixth in the state of that many schools, just really shows the dedication that your team puts into it. And y'all were very successful all year because you have a regional shoot, a state shoot, a national shoot, and then worlds.
Right.
Now you have to qualify for each of them.
Correct.
There are some schools that do not qualify.
Yes.
And it's usually the schools that are just starting out, but once they get enough time under their belt, they'll qualify too usually.
Right.
It's a learning curve for all the kids.
Correct.
Now, y'all went to World in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yep.
It was a very good tournament for you all.
Oh yeah.
Now, I know there was a lot of kids down there for that.
Oh yeah.
Now, what do you think is the best part of being a coach on an archery program?
Just seeing the kids progress. I've got kids that have never picked up a bow. And by the end of the year, they're hanging with everybody else. They're just as good as everybody else. And the discipline and the responsibility that it teaches. I've seen it transform kids' lives into somebody that absolutely didn't care about school at all, but now they have to keep their grades up to be able to participate. So now they're actually focusing. They're showing some responsibility, some discipline to be able to participate. So
and it takes dedication.
Oh, a lot of dedication.
I mean, because y'all have a lot of practice. Your season, the archery season, is extremely long.
Forever long.
It usually practice starts in November, and y'all finish up, what, April?
No, we finished in July this year.
July
this
year,
in July.
World was July. So you don't get much of a break
No.
between the end and the beginning. So it's dedication not only on the students' part, but the coaches' part
Right.
and the parents.
Parents, yeah.
It's a lot. It's longer than any other season that they have in the high school sports.
Yeah, we go 3 days a week. Most of that time after nationals, I give them a couple weeks off just to, rest and re-energize themselves. But other than that, we're going 3 days a week, every week.
And you have to give them that time off because it's like anything else. You get burnt out,
Oh, yeah.
you're non-productive.
Right.
And it's not what you're wanting to do because you're trying to accomplish a goal is to get to Worlds or win state, win national, win Worlds. It's just like the Super Bowl. Worlds is the Super Bowl for the football, for what
Right.
you are.
Right.
And I know as long as I've been a part of the NAS program, it's a phenomenal program.
Oh, yeah.
And, I've seen kids' grades that didn't really care a whole lot before they got in the archery program. Once they found something they were full teammates with,
Right.
they really started to care and focus on their schoolwork. So
Yep.
it jumped their grades up, jumped their attendance up because they didn't want to disappoint the coaches,
Right.
their teachers, or the fans that come watch them.
Right.
It's a great, great program. And how many coaches do you have?
I have 4 coaches on my staff, and there's no way that I could do this without these guys. From everything to fletching arrows to actually coaching the kids at practice, because at the high school level there's so much paperwork, physicals
Sure.
and all that stuff, insurance liability. Without these guys, there's no way that this program would be as successful as it is.
And we're going to take a break real quick. When we come back, we're going to have Morgan Vaughn here. You get your guest with you here. I can't wait to talk to Morgan. So, guys, stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. We're here with Jason Waddle and Morgan Vaughn from Bullitt East Archery Team. Now, before we went to break, we was talking about the explosion of the NASP archery and what it takes to be, dedicated to the sport and how successful your program has been. But what you brought with you here is Morgan Vaughn, which is he's a very low-key kind of guy, but it
Yep.
seems like when he gets to that shooting line, he really ramps up a little bit.
Yep.
Now, Morgan, thank you for coming on.
Oh, it's an honor.
Okay. Now, what has been your favorite part of the NAS program?
Sort of like what Jason said, watching the kids grow and develop over time to where like people will show up to tryouts not expecting to be much, and you can look at them and tell like sometimes they have certain troubles, but then seeing those same people grow and you really enjoy school and the archery program, and it just all around, like he said, it affects their lives and you can see them grow in a positive manner.
Now, with you being a senior, you're one of the leaders of that team. Now, do you get an opportunity to help and kind of comfort and calm down the freshmen on that team? Because, when you came in as a freshman shooting archery, you'd been shooting since 6th grade?
Yeah, I shot at sixth grade at Mount Washington Middle School. That's when I first started shooting.
Now, when you see these freshmen come in, you've been in their shoes, you know how nervous they are, especially at the first tournament or even tryouts. And, it's really nice for an upperclassman to come help these kids. And do you do a lot of that?
Well, like, I know how they feel, like you said, obviously, because of freshmen. And when I was coming in, I was like, I'm competing against all these other people. They're older. They're going to have more experience. It's sort of like an uphill battle because you know that they're going to be better than you because they've had a longer time. So I try to, if I see somebody, messing up the way they're shooting, I try to help them, show them where to aim or a different way to hold the bow, try to help them improve their scores.
And that's what being a leader is all about.
Yeah.
That's what being a leader is about, and you're taking that leadership role and you're helping these younger guys and younger girls grow like you did, because I'm sure somebody along the line helped you out that was an upperclassman.
Yeah, when I came as a freshman, I was real nervous, but we had seniors step up, and a lot of them really helped me grow and shoot higher scores eventually, because that's the overall goal of shooting in the NAS program.
And that's what I really love about this program here. It's not it's an individual sport, but it's also a team sport. You're shooting for an individual score, but you're representing your team for a team score. And that's why it's important for everybody to be on the same page and be one big team, because the overall goal is to get to the Worlds. That's the way what it is. Now, what brought you to the NAS program? What wanted you to start shooting that?
It's sort of a funny story. I think it was back in elementary school. Fish and Wildlife came to Mount Washington Elementary, where I was attending school, and they were talking about this Camp Earl Wallace that they had going. And so I went there thinking, it was going to be a fun experience. Well, one of the little classes they had there was archery, and I thought it was cool, bows and arrows, but I was like, it's just something new, and I got into it, and I noticed throughout the thing I was just shooting, groups and finishing with a higher score over everybody else, and I didn't understand why, because I'd never done it before, and people were asking me, what's your secret? And I was like, well, I've never shot it before. So then when I came into middle school, I realized, that they made an announcement about an archery team, and that was when I realized, that I was good. I sort of had a basic gift, is what people tell me about archery, so that's what made me want to shoot in middle school and eventually lead me to where I am as a senior. Right
Well,
now.
I'll tell you what impressed me most about shooters and the NAS program in general is a NAS bow is a very simple bow. And everybody's on the same playing field. It doesn't matter what demographic you're in or what state you're in, it's the same bow for everybody. So it's a very even, level playing field, which is not always the truth in most sports. If you're a baseball player, bats can run anywhere from $100 to $1,000, and the more you spend, the better the bat. Not that way in the NAS program. Everybody is the same. Doesn't matter if you're you're tall or you're short. The bow fits everybody.
Right.
It fits grown men. A lot of these tournaments they have the parent-child shoots, which are a blast to go to. And if anybody's never been to a big state meet or a national meet they have here in Louisville, boy, it's a trip to see that.
It's something else.
I mean, you're talking about 10, 12,000 kids shooting, along with 10 or 12,000 parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles. It's a complete festival. Now, what is your ambitions after you graduate this year? And I know you got one more archery season coming up, so I'm sure you're looking forward to that. But I bet you're also glad of the little bit of downtime you're having before it starts.
Yeah, it's because our archery program, like Jason said, archery season is a whole lot longer than any other sport in the state of Kentucky, because football is only a couple months, but this one, it's almost a year-round thing. So you only have a few months to really regather yourself and get ready for the next season.
Now, are you planning on trying to go to college and shoot archery?
That'd be the goal. That's what I'd like to do, because archery, something I enjoy doing, and so I'd like to, maybe get a scholarship doing something that I like to do.
And there's a lot of schools really starting up. I know Campbellsville was one of the bigger ones, University of Cumberland was one of the bigger ones that first started the programs here in Kentucky. Chris Trebek is the head coach there. He's a wonderful guy. You got Midway College, but you won't qualify. I think Midway's an all-girls school, so you wouldn't be able to go there.
Darn.
And then you have Campbellsville starting their program up. Union just started their program up. And it's a wonderful way to earn an education, keep shooting your bows, and, help the parents out and not having to foot the whole bill for a college education when archery can help out, especially when you're as good as you are. Now, you got a pretty good award. How many people were shooting down in the Worlds in your class?
I think there was a total of about 5,000, and there was like a 50-50 showage between the guys and the girls. So I was competing against about 2,300 to 2,500 different
high
shooters.
school shooters?
Yeah,
Now, of those 23 or 2,500, where did you place?
I ended up finished 5th overall with a score of 296 out of 300.
So let me get this straight. You shot 296. The best possible you can shoot is 300.
Yeah.
And you finished 5th in the world.
Yeah, it was.
How'd that make you feel?
I was sort of mesmerized by it, because there was, believe it or not, the score of 296 was a score to shoot that day. There was like a 10-way tie between people from like 3rd place to 5th place, which was the last place they took. So, it was like a 1-on-10 shoot-off at the end. And so it was really even that more rewarding that I placed, because there was 5 people that didn't make the cut. So
that's very impressive. And, it makes us proud that that somebody from the local area here finished so high in the world. And that just shows the dedication you've put in since the 6th grade, that's all paying off when it gets to your senior year. Some people have success early, some people have success late, and that's just the way it is sometimes. But being from Kentucky, the original state for the NAS program, and being a local kid to finish 5th out of the whole world, and you had people from overseas and everywhere, right?
Yeah, I think there was like 6 countries total. It was like United States, Canada, Bolivia, South Africa.
United Kingdom.
Yeah, United Kingdom.
That's amazing. Well, guys, I really appreciate y'all coming in. And for those of you all who want to check out the NAS program, check out Bullet East Archery's Facebook page. Try to go to an event. You'll really love it. If you have a child at home that wants to shoot a bow for the NAS program, contact your local school. They probably have it. Guys, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back. We got a special guest that's going to be coming on the phone with us. We have Randy Kitts, the founder and owner of Black Eagle Arrows. Randy, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Tom. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good. I know you've been a little bit all over the country hunting here lately, so how's it been going for you?
You know, pretty good. I took off last weekend, head to Kansas for the muzzleloader opener for bow season, to start archery season. I'll tell you, it got really hot. It was 95 degrees, wind was 30 miles an hour plus, so my buddy called me from Idaho. He's like, man, bulls are screaming all over. I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to be like Dorothy, and I'm out of here. I'm leaving Kansas. And I took off, jumped on a plane, Minneapolis, over to Idaho. I got to his place at like 12:30 that night. We were out hunting, and we got about 5 o'clock that morning. By 9 o'clock, I'd already had a big 5x5, did about 30 yards, just couldn't get a good shot. Then we spent the rest of the day looking for bulls, and about 3 o'clock, we found them. I think we found all of them because they were screaming. You know, I missed about a 320 bull. I just my rest moved on my bow. I won't bore your listeners, but my rest moved on my bow. I tried to get it back the best I could, but with no equipment to fix it out there. It was tough, and it was a 52-yard shot. I missed him. It was a little bit high. He wheeled on me, and then right behind him, come a beauty of a 6x6. He wasn't so fortunate. He got within about 7 yards, and I think I could have speared him.
Well, that's amazing. Well, Randy, you have been a sponsor of our TV show, Lights Out Outdoors TV, since the inception of our show, and we really appreciate your support throughout all the years with us and as our growth has continued to go. And, you know, we've used your arrows on a numerous amount of hunts, and they've always performed to perfection. Now, what makes your arrows better than everybody else's on the market?
No, I think the biggest difference, and I'm glad you said better, not best, because I flew to, that's why I'm on the cell phone tonight, is I flew over to Minneapolis for a pretty important meeting for really the future of Black Eagle. I talked to those folks about excluding the word best, but I would never say best. It's naive and blissfully ignorant. There's a lot of great product out there, but I think what makes our product so much better than many of the products out there is really our tolerances. You know, there's 2 really key features to arrow flight. One is spine, one is straightness, and the most irrelevant one is weight, which is what people get fussed the most about, which is kind of crazy, but it's okay. And so we really focus on that. We spine sort all of our arrows in the dozen. All of our arrows are or betters. There's no plus or minus, so there's no worse. And so we focus in on those 2 key things. And that's what really makes our arrows fly so good. And then all of our arrows, Tom, you know, we have our own destruction test. I'd love to say that, you know, we've got some big high-performance scientific lab room, and we do some of that stuff. But for the most part, we have our guys go out. Right now we got a prototype that I hunted with and performed flawlessly for me. I've got one of my great dealers out in Oregon. He's hunting with it. We've shot them through 2x6s. We've shot them through cinder blocks or into cinder blocks. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They're holding up well. So we got a new arrow coming out, I believe, for the ATA show. We'll see. It's going to be pretty special. So we really try to endurance test our arrows. We get them in the hands of some of the best archers in the world. You know, Dan McCarthy, he does pretty much all of our beta testing on our arrows. And we have other pro archers out there, too, that we utilize, and even some that don't shoot our arrows, but they test stuff for us, which is pretty special. because they're some of the best that are out there. They're under contract one way or the other, but they do help us out. For the most part, Danny does a significant amount of our testing.
Well, I know we're really impressed with them, and everybody that I know that uses them is very impressed with them. But I'll tell you what I enjoy the most is, you run a great big company in Black Eagle, but you're always at every like ASA event, or you always have a representative there. If it's not you, as much as your company has grown over the years, you're staying very grounded and very humble you're still beating the streets and still talking to people and still being there to support them if they have any problems or questions. You're always there to help them. That's what really impresses me the most.
Yeah, we're a grassroots company, right? We started small, as big as we are. We never forget where we come from. Every customer is important to us. We cut our teeth in the ASA tournament, and then we obviously that same year we migrated to IBO, and that's kind of where we started with that group and getting our name out there and celebrating the win. And I think the only ASA tournament I missed was Texas this year, and I'll probably miss Texas until Texas is no more. It's a 12-hour drive. It's a grueling drive. I think it's I-10 that runs across the south. It's a terrible stretch of highway. It beats your kidneys out, and it's just a long drive that I don't feel like I could fly. But the rest of them, I'll be there because I've got so many friends. Whether they shoot our arrows or not, I've made great friends, great relationships. I love the people that are there. They're awesome. They've treated us well. And you always got to stay connected to what got you to where you are, because the minute you don't, I think you start to become irrelevant.
You're exactly right. And now you have an arrow that fit everybody's budget and everybody's draw length and their specifications. You have an arrow for the crossbow hunters, for women, children, tournament. Can you go over a few of the different models that you suggest for different types of game or archery?
Yeah, sure. So I think in the crossbow world, I can't say that we dominate, but we're a pretty significant player in the crossbow world, the Executioner and the Zombie Slayer. Executioner is kind of a foundation arrow. Zombie Slayer came a little bit later, but been there since the beginning. We make crossbow arrows for all of Darton's crossbows go out with our arrow Scorpion. Their crossbows are awesome crossbows at $1,200 a piece or better. We make all their crossbow arrows. We make them for Indian archery, we make them for Camex archery. All of Botex crossbows go out with our Executioner shaft, so to speak. So I think that's a significant win. And price point, when you look at our 1000s price point compared to Company X 1000 straightness crossbow arrows, I don't think we're even touchable. And so we really dominate that space in the crossbow world. For the guys that just want to go out, they want an awesome arrow, but they're not looking for the 01. That precision arrow doesn't really mean that much to them. They just want what gives them maybe a competitive advantage, but doesn't break the bank. I think the Outlaw has probably been the biggest success that we've had as an arrow company.
Yeah, the Outlaws, we've been shooting the Outlaws on the TV show, and we've had great success. Hey, Randy, we're going to take a quick break. Can you stay through the break with us?
Absolutely.
Okay, guys, we'll be right back. Talk to Randy a little bit more. Welcome back to the show. Before we went to break, we were talking to Randy, the president of Black Eagle Arrows, also a great sponsor of ours at Lights Outdoors TV. Now, Randy, you still with us?
Yes, sure am.
Okay, before we went to break, we were talking about the Outlaws, and
Yep.
I had just harvested a doe the other day, and I was using an Outlaw. We had a really good sponsor of ours, just like you. We had Rodney from Athens Archery down, and
sure.
I believe he was also shooting some Black Eagle arrows.
Sure was.
And I tell you what, we've just had just great success at all of them. We actually got on film a 170-inch full velvet down in Adair County with the Outlaws. So
Nice.
we are very, very happy with them. And that is the great economy arrow for this time right now. Wouldn't you agree with that?
But it's the best. Now that one I hate to use the word the best, but for the money, it's a 5 or better on almost all of them. We got a few 300s left, but starting in 16, all of that stuff will be purged through probably the next month, quite honestly, and they'll be a 5 or better, which really makes them a plus or minus 2.5. And you take that $79 price point on the Outlaw arrow and put that against anybody's arrow at a plus or minus 3, and all they see is dust.
Right. Now, you also have a variety of arrows for the competition shooter. Is that correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. No, we got 27 series in our Magnum. We had several ASA Shoe of the Years, senior pros winning with them. It's been a huge success for us. For guys that want to. Always talk about catching that line.
Right.
And really successful for us. Danny did really well with those in Vegas this year. And next year, there's no doubt it'll be even more of a significant player in that space. And then we've got in the 23 series, which to me is the best target archery arrow for 3D because you don't have to play the wind drift so much. It's not such a critical arrow to shoot. We got Danny's signature arrow, the PS23, incredible success with that. Danny won the Classic. He won several tournaments this year. Was third place Shoe of the Year. Just got beat out by Tommy, who shot phenomenal this year by a few points. Levi, had another awesome year. So that's a great success for us. Then the Challenger, people that want that little bit less weight. The Challenger is an awesome arrow. Again, we've had tons of world championships, national championships, and all those with the Challenger arrow. And then for guys shooting FIDA, outdoor national stuff, it's all about the X Impact, that micro diameter arrow, high mod carbon, responds real well. It's been a tremendous success for us as well.
I hadn't got to speak to you since we had our Wounded Warriors on, but you were a big part in making their night just a huge success. You had sent us a few dozen arrows for the Wounded Warriors, and we had them on. Athens donated some bows to them. You gave us some arrows for them, and HHA put together some sights for them. So we just had a really good time, and I just want to say thank you so much for being a great sponsor and coming through for these Wounded Warriors. We got them set up. We had a ball with them. We had such a good time, and they were just so pleased to have all this new product that they hadn't had, because their products they were using were very old products. They were, I believe they were old redhead arrows they were using. So when you sent us the Outlaw Crested, it was like Christmas for them. So, it almost brings a tear to a grown man's eye to present all these nice archery products to these Wounded Warriors. And I just want to say thank you from Lights Out for doing that for us.
Yeah. It's kind of the unsung thing to do out there to keep that philanthropic spirit. We donate a lot. I mean, there are so many good causes. If we donated to them all, I think we would be a 501c3. We'd be a non-profit organization. But we really try to pick and choose, and that doesn't mean one's better than the other. But I think we do a significant amount of giveaways. I mean, we're always giving away arrows on our Facebook page. We got 123,000 likes on Facebook. Our Instagram has exploded. We'll be at 10,000 by the end of next week. So I think those things resonate well with people, and being kind. And there's a lot of stuff that comes across Facebook. I mean, there's been countless customers where I see that folks are down on their luck, can't afford this. I'll just hit them up and instant message them or message them on their posts. Send me your address, and I'll just send you a dozen arrows. If I can help out somebody, I mean, that's the great mission anyway. We're here to help each other. For goodness sake. Can't help our fellow man. What's good on?
And sometimes we lose that concept and that feeling. We get into a groove where we don't help as much as we should. And something else I want to bring up to all the people at home is the customer service that you all have with your arrows. Now, when we get arrows, or I ever advise somebody to go to your website and to buy the arrows, the first thing they always come back to me is within 30 or 45 minutes they have a confirmation number of when it's going to be shipped out. And I know most of the time the people that order arrows here in Kentucky are receiving them in 2 days. And I've had to order them in a pinch. If I was going on a hunt and was running a little low, I had to order some real quick. It's always 1 or 2 days, and I have them in my house.
Right. Yeah, we pride ourselves. I mean, that's what we're here for. I mean, you shouldn't have to wait days for something. We pride ourselves on getting things in. We work tirelessly, I think, to have that kind of service level that you're talking about. Just like you can pick up the phone, and a lot of times you can get a hold of me or my sales manager, Jason. We get, it seems like thousands of calls a day. It's not quite thousands, but it's a lot of calls a day with guys going, hey, what do I need? What's my setup? I mean, emails every day.
Right.
what I got this bow. What should I shoot? What fits me the best? And you know, we may miss one, but I would tell you that 99+%, we respond back to all of it. It's not a great diatribe of information. It's like, I'd shoot a Tommy Slayer 350 if it were me.
Right.
I would shoot a Crucible 350. I mean, it may be simple, but they're getting response from me. They're getting response from Jason or James, our operations director, or Jennifer. Somebody's responding back to those folks and letting them know that, number one, we care. Number two, we hear you. Number three, here's the solution to the problem that you're having, or the answer to your question.
Well, I tell you what, that means a lot and it goes a lot. Well, Randy, I know I won't take up any more of your time. You're just getting back, landing into Atlanta Airport, and I really appreciate you taking the time to spend with us. And I really appreciate you being a great sponsor of Lights Out Outdoors TV, because without the sponsors like you having this support, we couldn't do what we love to do. And we've been in deer camp together, and we got to do it again real soon.
Yeah, man. Danny hit me up, so he's ready to do some cooking. So when you guys are ready, just give me a holler.
Sounds good, Randy. We'll talk to you soon, buddy. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
And guys, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Wild Kentuckiana Live. We got a new guest in studio tonight. Now we got Cindy Steele. Cindy, how you doing?
Fine. Pleasure to be here.
Now, Cindy is our local ASA state director, and you've seen in some previous episodes we had talked about the ASA tournaments, and had Eddie Hale on. He's also a factory staff shooter from Matthews, and he brought a different perspective as far as how to tune a bow, work on a bow, and that type of thing. But you're bringing two different elements to the show tonight. You're bringing it as an ASA state director and also as a woman factory staff shooter for Matthews. Now, for people that don't know, what is ASA?
It's the Archery Shooters Association. It's based out of Kennesaw, Georgia. There's probably 10,000 members. Most of the tournaments are in the South.
Now, these tournaments are very extensive, big tournaments we have.
Yes.
And, it's a great thing, but they start out here at the local level. That's the grassroots program is here at the local level to get to the national level.
Correct.
Now, we have a lot of local clubs in our area that are ASA members that people can join up and learn how the program works. Is that correct?
There's a couple clubs locally. You have Chickasaw Archery, which is in Shepherdsville off of Pitts Point Road, and they have a nice indoor facility. You can shoot 45 yards indoors. They've got 18 lanes, heated, air conditioned, the big flat screen for when we want to watch ball games and shoot our bows.
All the comforts of home,
Yes.
indoor plumbing,
Of course.
and you also have an outdoor range, correct?
We do. We have 20-yard to 50-yard target butts set up outside. They're under cover of a carport so the sun doesn't hit you in the eyes. And there's also a half field range there, 14 targets. You shoot field anywhere from 15 feet to 80 yards.
And not only Chickasaw being our local club in this area that has the ASA, but there's ASA clubs all over the state of Kentucky.
There's approximately 22 clubs in the state of Kentucky, so wherever you are, there's probably a club within 75 miles, probably a lot closer.
And for those that don't have a club near them, but they have an archery club that'd like to be an ASA member, they can contact you through the Facebook page to set a club up?
Yes, there's a Facebook page, Kentucky ASA Archery, and you can message me on that, and we can help you get set up to be an ASA club and be affiliated with the ASA.
Now, what's the advantage of being affiliated with the ASA club?
Okay. A lot of people, you're going to need to get your insurance so that if somebody has an accident, you're covered.
Right.
You get insurance through the ASA. Once you join, your club joins, they'll give you 10 memberships. You will then resell those memberships, so your insurance for the year is very minimal expense.
Yeah, and that's the way to go. A lot of clubs pay their insurance this way because they get when you become a member, you get the 10 memberships, you sell them out to your club members.
Right.
And then basically they're covered for the year.
Yes.
And I think what's the insurance, another $40 or $50 on top of that?
It's about $50 or $70 is what the club will end up paying, and they get $3 million worth of liability insurance for that amount.
Yeah, try contacting your local insurance agent and saying, I want $3 million of insurance coverage on an archery range for $70.
Right.
It's unheard of. It doesn't happen. Now, there's different stages for state shoots in Kentucky, and you'll have qualifiers. And tell us a little bit about that.
Well, every club will have, if you're a member of an ASA organization here, you get the opportunity to host a qualifier for the state. In order to shoot in the Kentucky state tournaments, you have to have qualifiers, and it's a way for the clubs to raise money for themselves. The ASA organization gets a small amount of the money. The clubs keep 3/4 of the money that they bring in, so it's a nice fundraiser. You can have 1, 2, 3. You can have as many qualifiers as you like. They get registered through me, so we make sure that nobody's overlapping anybody else. And once you shoot that qualifies you to go to the state shoot, which will this year be in the middle of July. We don't have a site yet. We're still taking bids on the sites. But anybody can have a qualifier.
And that's what's great because there's clubs spread across the whole state of Kentucky, so it doesn't matter if you're Eastern Kentucky, Western Kentucky, if you're in the Louisville area, or even somewhere near the Tennessee line down south, you can find a club somewhere close to you to go shoot a qualifier.
Yeah, we had about 20 qualifiers last year. That's the most we've ever had. And they went, every part of this state had a qualifier very close. You didn't have to go far at all to find one.
Now, did y'all have really good numbers this year for your qualifiers and for your state?
We did. Our state was over double what it was the previous year.
That's great.
We had a really great turnout. And even at the ASA shoot here in Kentucky, we were the largest national shoot they had this year.
Really?
Great turnouts in Kentucky.
The London, it really seems like the London shoot that I've been to several years in a row is really, it's a fun shoot to go to. Because you see people at the shoot that you see at the qualifiers too. Mm-hmm. And you become friends with them and you become family with them. That's what is so great about the ASA program. It's one big family. You know, Mike Terrell, they do a wonderful job over there. And I can't speak highly enough of them. And what opportunity they give everybody to shoot a bow is amazing because they put on a first-class act all the way across.
They do.
And so what's it cost for a member to be, or somebody to become a member of the ASA?
I believe it's $30 for an ASA membership, and that's a year membership. They will also have lifetime memberships. I think they were kind of running low on those. They were going to reopen it. But the way to go right now is just to get the annual yearly membership, which is $30, which you can purchase from your local club.
Yeah, I'm actually a lifetime member, and I've been 4 or 5 years now, or 3 or 4 years a lifetime member, and it's great because I don't have to shoot a qualifier. I can shoot any state shoot in the country I want to without shooting a qualifier. And when you go to all the national shoots, you get VIP parking. That's the most benefit of all because if not, you're parking in the lower 40s and having to walk.
That's true.
75 miles, and the VIP parking is roped off, pull right up front. You're right there by the
like
whole
you're
village.
The man.
Right. You're really not, but they make you think like you are. So that's the great part about it. Now, so July is going to be your state shoot. Site still to be determined.
Correct.
Is it too late for a club to get involved now and maybe be in the hunt for a state shoot?
No. Matter of fact, I just sent out some emails today. If I'm asking for everybody to send in their qualifier dates, and if you're interested in hosting the state shoot, to contact me, and then we'll put everybody in the pot. We'll look at everything, where's going to be the best for the event. We're trying to move it around the state. It was in the western part of the state this year. Last year, it was more centrally located. Chickasaw Archery actually held the shoot. So we're looking to move somewhere where we haven't really been recently.
And Hunter's 3D Archery in Madisonville had it last year, right?
Correct.
Paul Carlton, I
Yes,
believe it is.
he did a good job.
And they got a pretty nice facility down there. They just built their facility. It's really nice down there. So stay with me through the break here, and we're going to talk about you being a female shooter for Matthews.
All right, thanks.
Stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Wild Kentuckiana Live. I got Cindy Steele here with me. She is the state ASA director and also a factory staff shooter for Matthews. Now, Cindy, before we went to break, we was getting ready to go into talking about you being a factory shooter for Matthews. But one thing I do want to bring up for the people at home, on the ASA, they have all different levels of shooting.
Yes, they do. It's truly a family event. The youngest a child can shoot is 5. So if your kid's 5, they're going to be shooting at a national tournament, and there is actually even a class called the Master Seniors, which is 68 and up. So any age group can shoot. You'll go to these shoots, and you'll see several generations of a family there together, enjoying it.
And that's what's amazing about that is, you know, from 5 years old all the way up to 68 plus. I had seen some guys at a few tournaments that I know. I can't think of his name. It might have been Keith Kane, but he was like 80, 82 or 83 years old. and he
He's
was
clo-
still shooting that bow.
Did he hit the target?
I don't know if he hit it. He only shot one day, so I wasn't sure. But let's talk a little bit about you being on staff with Matthews. Now, how complicated or how hard was that to be on staff with them?
It was actually very hard. It takes a lot of commitment and a lot of your time. I put a lot into it. I shoot probably 5 days a week, and on the weekends I'm shooting someplace else both Saturday and Sunday. And I could be driving 3 hours one way to go shoot somewhere. So it's a big commitment.
On top of working a full-time job.
Yes, on top of working a full-time job.
Not many people can shoot archery for a living and be able to support themselves.
No, especially the women.
Right. Understandable. Now, you have with you here your bow that you're shooting in competitions right now. Explain to
Yes.
what that bow is.
This is a Matthews Chill R. It has 75% let off on it. It is basically it's a hunting bow, but I've jazzed it up to shoot competition. It's got all the bells and whistles.
You souped it up, you shooting, is that bee stinger?
I've got bee stinger stabilizers. I have a Sherlock scope on it with a extreme housing and lens and a trophy taker rest.
Now, what did you have to do in order to get on Matthew's staff with them? I know there's a procedure and you have a contract and all that good stuff.
I do have a contract with Matthews. Once you show that you're committed and you're willing, you're out there, you've got to be out there selling, I talk to people all the time about bows and equipment. So they like you to do that, and you have to turn in a resume. It's just like going for a regular job interview.
Probably a little more nervous though, more nerve-wracking when you're putting that resume in.
Somewhat it is, because you know you're getting that phone call and they're going to do a phone interview and they're going to quiz you on their products.
So you have to be very up to date on their products and what
Yes.
they're coming out with. And you know, Matthews is a great company, and they were a sponsor of our TV show for a few years. And every year they come out and make a new bow. It's better and better and better. And you know, on the archery circuit that you're shooting against people with PSEs, Bowtex, Newbury, just a
Everything.
numerous amount of competition bows out there. Now, why do you think your setup's better than somebody else's? Is it setup or is it you?
I'm not saying you need to shoot what works for you the best.
Right.
And I've shot a lot of different brands of bows. But for me, the Matthews bows, they fit me the best. You kind of need to be a partnership with your bow.
Right.
I don't want something that's going to be hard for me to shoot. And they're very easy for me to shoot, and I shoot them well. I don't want to spend a lot of extra time trying to tune a bow, get it ready when I know that these are going to be easy. I can get them up and get them going.
It's like buying a pair of shoes that's comfortable to you.
It is.
It fits you.
Yep.
You trust it.
Yep.
And that's what the most important is when you're shooting archery is trust.
And I shoot the same bow for everything. Spots, I hunt with it, I shoot 3D with it.
You don't hunt with that stabilizer, do you?
No, I take stabilizer
That's a
off.
good thing. I'm going to see how you get the deer stand with that.
Stick out the blind.
Now, when you got on staff with Matthews, was that your first staff you were on for a bow company?
Yes, but I had shot for some other bow companies, not on their national staff, but more as a shop shooter level.
Right. And so this was your first big break into it. And, you know, you've been successful. 2 years ago you won the Kentucky shoot?
I was second.
Second? I know I watched you that tournament. You were on fire. I mean, you were hitting everything. Everything was just working perfect. But you've had a knee replacement that kind of hurt you a little bit. And,
A little bit.
But you've bounced back from that, and you're still shooting consistently, you know, 3 or 4 days a week. I remember when I'd call you a few times, you'd be at Tom Sawyer shooting, or you'd be here shooting, you'd be there shooting. You were always shooting somewhere after work or up at Chickasaw.
Yeah.
Constantly. That's kind of your home range, I guess.
It is.
And
Good facilities.
they're great facilities and great people there. Now, in your contract, you have to shoot so many ASAs or IBO tournaments?
They let you pick a tournament trail basically to follow. You can shoot one or the other. I shoot all of the ASAs, and then I'll try to fit in a couple of the IBOs if it fits into the schedule, and maybe do indoor nationals if it's here locally.
Now, what has been your favorite shoot you've been to this year on the ASA level?
My favorite shoot in the ASA level, I liked the I know this is bad to say, but I like the Texas site.
Most people don't like it. We just heard Randy from Black Eagle saying that that was his least favorite. It was my least favorite too.
I love it.
Well, the first time we went out there, my whole family drove. It was 14 and a half hours. Pretty gruesome to drive.
Yeah.
And then the second time me and my son went, we flew into Dallas. that made it a lot easier flying to Dallas, driving over, and then you're good to go.
Yep.
But what makes Texas so fun to you?
It's just such a small town, and everywhere you go, they are just so accommodating
They are.
and welcoming to the Archers. The city,
Paris, Texas.
yes, and they've got the big Eiffel Tower with a big cowboy hat on top of it. But the city really cares about bringing in ASA, and they'll ask you, what do you think we need to do? They take suggestions. They've improved on the site every year. And the city council has a table there. If you want to know something, where can I go eat? I'm having an issue. You can go to it, and the mayor's walking around. They take care of it right there.
Yeah, the tourism commission's pretty strong in Paris, Texas.
Oh, it's awesome. And it's a small town. There's only like 25,000 people in that town.
Yeah, and I know when we went, everybody was very nice and you know, and very accommodating. But all the ASA towns I go to, as Coleman, Alabama, was very accommodating for everybody. They're just really, really good people. So your season's done for the year.
Yes.
Now it's deer mode.
It should be, yes.
It's going to be deer mode.
Yep.
So you got any plans coming up to shoot any local tournaments around here?
I'm pretty much going to rest a little bit. I mean, I started up in October last year. I started up, and I just finished a few weeks ago. So that makes for a long season.
And if you want to check your local clubs, go ChickasawArchery.com and check it out. Guys, we'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in to Wild Kentuckiana Live.